you breathe purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors? Now, time for the most in-depth look at the world of ECU athletics. Welcome in to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Now, here's your host, Stephen Igo.
Welcome in, Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday, an April 29th edition of the program. Fun show ahead. We're going to open it up for some discussion because we have multiple things to discuss. Spring game takeaways. Pirates held their annual Purple Gold spring game on Saturday inside Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. If you were there, feel free to share what you saw, and we'll pass that along. We'll do the same here in a minute. We'll introduce our cast. Also, Mike Schwartz has been extended. That news also coming out Saturday, right when the spring game was about to kick off. We'll discuss that. Plenty of takes out there on social media about that. Also, transfer portal for basketball rolling along with news as well. We'll get into all that over the course of the next hour. We got ECU at Elon tonight. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. You got a question, comment, concern, drop it there. We will get to it. We've got Chance Scott back in studio. Chance, it's been a while. You've been holding down the pulse, Pirate Pulse, Hoist the Colors intern. Also wrapping that up, man, as well, because you're set to graduate this week.
Yep, it's pretty surreal feeling. Feels like it was just August, and we were DMing about starting internship, so it's been great. I've enjoyed every bit of it.
Well, it's been awesome to have you on, and we'll talk about the Pulse as well a little bit before you get out of here. But I love the jersey, man. Zay Jones?
It's just UBE. They just rocked the number 7 on all of them, so that and 23.
Can't go wrong with the numerical 7-digit for sure. One of my favorite numbers. We got Philip Pilkington behind the glass. He's wearing his Nuggets hat. We're getting together to watch Game 5. Hopefully, there's no extra innings because we want to see this whole game. 10 o'clock tip-off, and then you're producing ECU Elon, so we need this game to move.
With a midweek game, it could be going on 10 without extra innings, so fingers crossed it's not. But when you invited me, I said, I go just for you. I will wear a Nuggets hat since you're inviting me to go out with you and watch the Nuggets and the Clippers tonight. So, yes, my Celtics are in action. That was my first love. Feel pretty good about what they'll do tonight. And big Game 5 tonight, Nuggets-Clippers inside Ball Arena. Ball Arena. Yeah, you guys are at home. So
that is right.
It'll be fun, and hopefully they do not kick us out of the bar at midnight and make us listen to the rest of the game on the radio.
Yeah, the place we're going is closing at midnight. Not too many places open past midnight during the midweek, which I understand. But, come find us. See if you can guess what sports bar we'll be at in town, and we'll be there. All right, guys, spring game, purple gold game. We'll go around the horn, just general takeaways here. And I wrote post-game like it was kind of the most – I don't know, maybe one of the most boring games I've watched, Chance, which it should be that way. So I want to preface that. Like, there's no reason to show anything. So I don't know if I had any, like, glaring takeaways. There was good and there was bad, which we'll get into. But I thought what they needed to do, they did. They got Caden Hauser some work, which was a positive. And, yes, he looked a little rusty. He's coming off surgery. I think he got 2 series. Most of the starters got 2 series. I thought the defense looked better than I thought they would, but again, the offense was running pretty base stuff. So those are kind of my general takeaways. Special teams needs to be cleaned up, which I think it will. But what about you, Chance? Any big takeaways from your perspective?
Man, the 2 only big things for me was I thought the defense looked great. You know, even though the offense wasn't, very just base packages, they did all the right things. They wrapped up. They made the tackles. They
tackled well.
They broke up passes. So you do stuff like that, you look a lot better than what you may be. And then my biggest negative was probably just we've got to keep getting the new center some works with what Carson Jones is out.
Yeah, Carson Jones probably out for the season.
So, just getting Bryce Weaver, whoever they, think is going to be their center, just got to keep, feeding him reps. Eventually, I think they clean it up, but it didn't look the best on Saturday.
Yeah, it was basically Weaver. I can't remember who was running with which, but Bryce Weaver and Darius Bell, who to their defense, have been more guard and tackles in the past, so they're kind of learning to snap on the fly with the Carson Jones injury. So, but a good observation there. Those snaps need to be cleaned up because, in an RPO offense, Chance, if the timing's off, it really messes up everything.
Yeah, it can throw off a lot, especially with just how explosive this offense can be. I think we need just get the ball in the hands of Caden Hauser, let him make his read on that DN, and I think it can be really special.
What about you, Philip? What stood out to you from the Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium press box?
I thought the long passes down the field went really well. From the side that it looked like the quarterback and the wide receiver had chemistry, and they were pretty good deep balls thrown. There were a couple that got overthrown, but for the most part, they were good, especially when Caton threw them. But the DBs were not getting burnt, and the DBs were able to break them up and make the plays, because that's not a knock on the offense. If the quarterback throws a good ball, the receiver runs a good route, it's all about the chemistry. If you put the ball in a position to be caught, that's a win for the offense from this standpoint. Obviously not on game day. And it's a win for the defense if you're able to make a spectacular play and knock the ball away, which they were. That gives you confidence going into the season that the defense can defend against the explosive play, which Tegan Wilk mentioned he thought they did a very good job of in his post-game press conference. And I think the offense has the ability to put themselves in situations to make explosive plays, which is good because PATs will not be a guaranteed thing, because the worst part of the day was the kicking game.
Yeah, and how long has this been a problem? Now, I have talked to sources that ECU would like to add some specialists through the portal. And I don't know what the deal is with Andrew Conrad. He did not really participate in spring ball, so I don't know if he's still hurt. Thomas O'Halloran, who is their projected starting punter, he has mono, so he was barely able to punt. I think we saw Everett Scott attempt to punt. He's more the kickoff guy, so that didn't go well. Snapping, Brock Spalding was holding, which I think O'Halloran's your holder as well. Spalding's your backup holder. The snapping and holding didn't go well. So, again, like Blake Harrell was asked post-game, he's not too concerned about it. I'm not that concerned about it because I know internally they want to add some guys and they're going to get some guys back from injury chance. But I think we're just scarred from the past few years. Like that can't be an issue going into the opener.
It can't, especially just who we're playing. I can't go through another missed kick against that school from Raleigh. I just can't do it.
Yeah, they got to figure that out. So I am interested to see, do they go out and do they try to add a guy who is proven he can punt or kick in a game? Because like they have Noah Perez, who I would say is a short kicker in terms of a short yardage but accurate kicker, although he did miss a 25-yarder in the spring game, which wasn't great. But then you got Conrad, who's got more of a big leg but is less accurate. So, how do they want to play that? New special teams coordinator as well, so some questions there. The other thing that stood out from a positive, guys, was the backfield. I thought the running backs looked really good. London Montgomery, we barely saw him get some reps, but one of those reps was a 71-yard touchdown. He showed some speed, man.
Yeah, and that was on the 4th and 1 call, too, on it. So, I mean, something about those 4th and 1s, 3rd and 1s that JDB's been calling up he's been on the money with those, and me and Brady talked about it at one spring practice that we thought the running back room just looked super deep. I mean, Josh Benton,
he looks good, man.
A turned over DB, and he looks like he's been running the rock his whole life. So, I mean, I think that room's super deep, and it's going to be hard to get every single one of those guys some touches.
What did you think of the backs, Philip? Anything stand out?
Yeah, I think just the depth. We've talked about it in the past, whether it be JDB, Donnie, Mike Houston, about how two's not enough this day and time. It's too high tempo of an offense. The linebackers are hitting you just too hard. And not saying that your third guy is going to go out there and, rush the ball 10, 15 times a game, but it's the fact of having enough guys that you trust to carry the ball, see the hole. So I love the depth. I thought they also all looked really good in pass pro, and, that's part of it. And we've talked about it with JDB, with the receivers, but also with the backs. No block, no rock. And I thought they all looked good in pass pro. They all stepped to the right place. Even the undersized guys were not afraid to get ran over by a linebacker twice their size. Like Coach Logan always says, it's okay to get ran over. Just get ran over slowly. And, man, they've got what it takes.
Yeah, and we did not see Dajuan Lacey this spring, who I know they're really high on. He was a junior college addition who injured his knee. He will be back for preseason camp if all goes well there. So he's another physical, like 5'10", 210-pound back. Really, you look at this backfield, you kind of have a little bit of everything. I don't know if there's a number one right now, and I think maybe that'll take some time in the season to establish it. But you got Marlon Gunn, who's like the vet, who's a power back who can do it all. We know he's capable, especially when healthy, and he's looked healthy this spring. You got London Montgomery, who's got the burst. Needs to improve in maybe pass protection and receiving game. Parker Jenkins, Houston transfer, he ripped off a big one as well. He had like a 50-yard run. He's got some power speed combo, more of a combo back, I would say. Lacey, again, bigger back. We haven't seen a ton of. TJ Engelman, I thought, looked good as a redshirt freshman. So that's 5 scholarship backs. And then you got Josh Benton. So, that's 6 backs that right now I trust on game day, Chance. So I'm writing an article today on several things. And, I think this skill position group, we haven't even talked about the receivers yet, is as deep as ECU's had. And I'm writing since the Lincoln Riley, Ruff McNeil era because I truly believe that.
It just when you think back of just what made some really special ECU teams, it was super deep running back rooms, super deep wide receiver rooms, and guys that played around and made the team look better. So I think this team can be super special. We've been talking about it year 2 of JDB. He gets almost 100% of his install in now, so it's going to be a deeper playbook. I think my biggest thing is just how do the other skill position on the other side of the ball, how do they line up against other people?
Yeah, corner room needs things that didn't necessarily impress me. Corner, I thought on contested balls were inconsistent. We saw Ty Johnson walk on receiver again, make a really good play over Key Crowell on a nice touchdown from Cole Hodge. The other thing I'm worried about is just the backup quarterback spot. Raheem Jeter has improved, but I don't know, Chance. You could see a pretty noticeable drop off from Caden to those guys right now.
Yeah, and you're always one play away from having to go to your number 2. And, it's nothing to Raheem Jeter or Chase Ndeta or whoever is number 2 right now. I just think you got to add, in the portal area, just add a quarterback to somebody
somebody's played.
Pay a guy just come sit, man. Just some guys want to do that now. So, come pay him to come sit and learn to be your quarterback. And if you got to get to him, you get to him.
What about you, Phil? Did you see enough on Saturday to where if Caden Hauser has to go take a seat because he gets his bell rung, heaven forbid nobody wants that to happen, but you got to have a capable backup. Did you see enough to trust one of these guys, or do you want to see ECU add through the portal?
Throughout camp, I've felt like Chaston Ndeta has done as close enough as a true freshman can do. He did not show it to me on Saturday. I'll be honest with you. Right now, one play, he loses his helmet. Let's just say now, if he loses his helmet, Raheem Jeter's going in the game. We know that because Raheem has already had a red shirt year and the other guys have not, and they don't want to waste a game on a guy. But let's just one play, win a national championship kind of thing. I would probably take John David Black. From what I saw on Saturday, the walk-on, John David Black, and this is a little bit of a knock on the other guys that I don't think they've been extremely consistent, but I'd tell you that dude is not playing like a walk-on. But still, to answer your question shortly, no, I'm not real confident. But he, to me, has been the best one.
From an arm talent perspective, he's got plenty of ability. He just is a little erratic on decision-making, which, again, if he's your answer, then I think it's time to hit the portal. And it's no offense to the guys in the room and, even Raheem Jeter, who, again, has made great strides. I've seen him from practice 1 a couple years ago in the spring, and it was not good, to now he has really come a long way. And I think, I wrote earlier this week, he could go in, he could manage the offense, and he can move the football. But, you're not going to be able to just run up and down the field with Raheem Jeter. And maybe ECU can't get a backup quarterback chance that you can, go in and operate at full capacity. But from what I understand, they were going to pay Jake Garcia a pretty hefty amount, 30, 40, 50,000. I don't know the exact number, but I think somewhere in that range to be the backup. I think you can get a serviceable, experienced backup for that sum. Not a game changer, but a guy who you can trust.
Yeah, you don't need to go get a Caden Hauser 2.0. You just got to have a guy that you trust to just get you through the game. God forbid something happens or get you through a couple drives. But it's tough when you sit here and think about, Raheem Jeter, he looked okay for a drive, and then the next drive he looked like he might have just learned the playbook that day. So it's tough. He was playing with a mixed match offense. He wasn't playing with the guys he's probably comfortable with. So, that could have a lot to do with it. But at the same time, I just haven't seen enough to where I trust anybody in that room after Caden Hauser.
The tough thing to get this guy, you're going to need a guy who probably played at a lower level. If you started at a lower level, are you in the portal right now? At other positions, maybe. Is there any quarterbacks that fit this description in the portal?
There's a few. I know ECU's talked to a few, but that is the problem, is finding who is okay with taking some money to be a backup. It's almost like you would need a guy who is a guy who was a former starter, who just has no spot on a roster right now or is third string or worse. And, hey, you can come here. You're the guaranteed number 2. We've got Caton Hauser, who, by the way, he had a wrist surgery. If something goes wrong there, we need a guy. You're our guy. Like, that's kind of how I would sell it. And I think that's how they were selling it to Jake. It's just, it is tough to find. You know, it's not like the NFL where you can go pay a backup $8 million to sit on the bench. So, but there's got to be somebody out there who fits. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to comb the portal to find out, but I know they're talking to these guys.
Yeah, I mean, somebody out there wants $40,000 to come and just sit for a couple months and, you know, have lived a good life. But, I mean, where do we stack up, you know, scholarship-wise? Do they have enough room to get one? I mean, they got to add some other guys, too. So
yeah, DB, got to continue to address that. Interior line with Carson Jones coming back. So we'll see how they do. And you can get creative. Maybe if you don't have a scholarship, you can pay the guy the NIL rev share money. Any other final thoughts, guys, on spring as a whole? Not necessarily, you know, the spring game. You can go that direction if you want. But I don't know, Philip, any other storylines that you either were impressed by or will be monitoring going into the offseason?
Depth.
Yeah.
Where does it come from? Who's the next guy up? I think they feel pretty good about starting 24, 25 guys. But where's that depth? Now, one thing I do like, the best thing that came out of spring is how they talked about the new leaders, that guys have slotted into the roles of the Big Tays and the Rajays of the world. Teagan coming back is a big part of that, I think, on the defensive side of the ball. But where's that depth coming from? What
about you, Chance? Anything else stand out?
Man, not much, really. I think this roster has a chance to be super special. I think we understand what that top half and how talented they are, but, you know, just speaking like Philip, that too deep, you're not much without your backups being just as good as you are.
Looking forward to the offseason, and a little bit of a teaser on Hoist the Colors. Just dropped a new transfer portal crystal ball for ECU football to land a defensive back. So check that out. You can get your first month VIP for VIP coverage for a single $1. We've got that on the message board now, along with a thread about Mike Schwartz's extension that features 302 comments. So we will get into that on the other side. Mike Schwartz, ECU basketball coach, getting a 1-year extension. Also, a lot going on in the portal with Pirate Hoops. We'll discuss that on the other side. Feel free to weigh in as well in the comment section. We'll be right back. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed, meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Are you ready to tackle those yard and garden projects? Come by East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, your local Coyote dealer, and check out their great selection of residential and commercial Coyote tractors. From zero-turn mowers to compact tractors to skid steer loaders, they've got you covered. Some with 0% financing for qualified buyers. Stop by your hometown Coyote dealer, East Carolina Tractor and Fleet, across from the Pitt County Fairgrounds, or online at ectfleet.com. East Carolina Tractor and Fleet. We dig dirt.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Do real burgers, better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
Welcome back to Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Gentlemen, hoist the colors.
Welcome back in, Hoist the Colors.
That one sounds a little better than one we had last week.
Yeah.
I tried to play with it a little bit.
I could just hear the same notes hitting over and over again. But hey, it was less.
It's not long. That's the problem. There's not a lot of dead time without without somebody talking.
Hey, I appreciate your effort, Philip. That's all that counts. The thought. So you're doing a good job, man. You're not only a great producer, but you provide great insight on a daily basis.
Insight is what I got. Producing, clearly, as you see how well I mix down stuff, doesn't sound very good. We need other people doing this stuff.
Hey, that's why we're training the interns, right?
Yeah. All right, Brandon, you got to learn how to mix down stuff, make it sound a hell of a lot better than what I just did.
Intern Brandon hanging out.
He just smiled, nodded. He's like, all right.
We'll have to get him on the board here soon. All right, we got Chance Scott in studio, Hoist the Colors, intern, also runs the Pirate Pulse, and Philip Pilkington behind the glass as well. Let's talk some hoops, guys. We'll start with the big news over the weekend. Mike Schwartz getting a 1-year extension. And so I want to preface this with a lot. All right, so Hoist the Colors, I would say we have a pretty dedicated basketball fan base on Hoist the Colors and ECU as a whole, but like we have the most vocal group of basketball fans in ECU history, I feel like, on Hoist the Colors. One of them, his name is Ori. If you've ever been on any basketball thread on Hoist the Colors, this guy is extremely analytical, provides a ton of data, has a ton of opinions, and makes some good points. He also makes a lot of points, and at times people get tired of reading his stuff. But anyways, I say all this to say the Mike Schwartz extension through the 27-28 season has gone to the point where it now has 9,000 views and 302 comments, and it is still going strong. I've got many thoughts on this. It's complex. I'll say that. Do y'all want me to go first, or do y'all want to give y'all's take first? Because I don't know how long this is going to take me.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the Mike Schwartz, for those who are unfamiliar with his contract situation, he signed a 5-year deal originally, and he had 2 years left on his deal. So why it's complex is, as I'm writing on a 3 Things I Know, 3 Things I Think article for later today, which features a lot of words, I'll try to sum it down to a little bit. It's complex because ECU has little to no basketball history. And 19 wins is a big deal. And you set a conference record for 10 wins, which is also a big deal. But you also have to have some context, too. When ECU first entered the American in 2014, these 5 teams were in the league: UConn, Houston, UCF, Cincinnati, SMU. The league was like 5th or 6th, I want to say, at that time in RPI. Now you have North Texas, UAB, solid programs, but not to the level of a national title contender in Houston or UConn or UCF. But you also have Rice. You've got UTSA. Others, the conference now is like 10th or 11th in RPI, below Conference USA, Mountain West, Missouri Valley this year, just ahead of the West Coast Conference and Big West. So what I'm saying is there's some context to, when Joe Dooley and Jeff Lebo were the coaches, they were playing these teams, whereas right now ECU and Mike Schwartz's most recent year playing much lesser competition. So, again, 10-8 conference record, definitely noteworthy, but there is some context to it. ECU also, 19 wins is the most wins, the first winning season since ECU had one in 2012, 2013, and the most wins ECU has ever had, period, in the regular season / conference tournament. So before like the CIT or any postseason tournament. So that is a significant number as well. But you got to dive deeper into that, too. ECU, 2 of those wins were non-D1 wins, which I believe Joe Dooley only played 1 non-D1 team. I'm not sure of the exact number, but definitely not 2 in one season. So you take that away, you're 17-14. Take some of the shine off that. Still the first winning season. The other factor is net ranking. Joe Dooley went 15-15 his final year. The net ranking was 183. That is just 8 spots lower than East Carolina's net ranking of 175 this past season. Dooley was fired. Mike Schwartz got a 1-year extension. So I'm saying all this to say there's a lot. You can keep diving further into this. There's a lot more to it than just that. Mike Schwartz is a John Gilbert guy. He was hired by him. Schwartz is also better with the donors. He has a much better relationship, I think, with the entire athletic department than Joe Dooley had, so that's a factor as well. I think he's a great representative of the program. I'm happy for Mike Schwartz. I like him a lot. I think personally he's more driven than anybody I've seen at wanting to win for ECU basketball, and so this gives him some security. So I'm happy for him. I'm just saying I can see both sides. There's a large portion of our board and our fan base that don't like the extension because they're like, why do this if you're ECU? He's got 2 years left to prove himself. Why give him that free extra year? And so I'm trying to present why people would feel that way versus, why you would be in favor of it. So we'll go around the horn here, and we'll continue this discussion. Chance, we'll start with your take.
I mean, I'm not the biggest basketball guru. It's probably my least favorite sport. So, I mean, I don't know where this stands in a normal sports. How would other schools handle the situation? But
right.
I mean, when I went down to South Carolina and they were in that game, they should have won that game. You win that game, he gets to 20 wins, and then he automatically gets it. There's games that he also should have won that just team fell apart at the end. They couldn't make a big shot.
And there was an automatic.
Yeah.
If you get 20 wins in the contract, he was going to get an automatic extension either way for 1 year.
Yep.
So that's fair to point out.
And then they won the game in the conference tournament. So I mean, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I mean, maybe if you thought somebody was blowing smoke, then you do it. But I don't know really who's maybe blowing smoke with this situation.
Yeah, and let's hear your take, Philip, before I give some more thoughts.
Yeah, the weird thing about this is half of me feels like this was a thank you for all the things that were done, right? Hey, if you got to 20, you were going to get the extension. Well, you did this, that, and the other. You got to 19, had a winning record in the conference, most conference wins since they went 10-3 in 1970-something, and Furman won the conference. So part of me thinks this is a thank you. The weird part about this is, and we talked about it before the show, if this was 6 or 8 years ago, I would almost call it a no-brainer extension. And the reason being is prior to the portal era, if you were a recruit that was graduating high school in 2026 and a coach came to you midway through his second to last season on a contract and you're a recruit, you're going to go, Coach, you've only got 1 year after this. Why do I want to come play for you if you could be gone after my freshman year and I have to totally restart with a new coach and a new system after my freshman year? We live in the portal era. That's not what's happening here. Everybody can restart after their freshman year. Hell, everybody can transfer every 6 months if they want to. So, therefore, I don't think it was something you absolutely had to do. But there is also the side of, like you said, Stephen, he's more dedicated to win than probably anybody's ever been here. He's great with the donors. And what happens if you fire him? You're bringing in another guy who's in the same situation that you were when you brought in Mike Schwartz. You're probably bringing in a first-time head coach coming from a bigger program as he did. This isn't a historic destination that provides up-and-coming coaches for the next level of player. We're not VCU where we've produced Shaka Smart or UNC Wilmington, which I know people hate to hear me say. So at the end of the day, if you can find a guy who's dedicated and the team is getting better year in and year out, this is kind of where we are. We've got to lay the foundation, and Mike Schwartz, I think, can be that guy. I know that it maybe hasn't turned around as quick as people want to, but oh my gosh, we have no history at all here. There is nothing. that any player can look back on. Don't say we've been to the NCAA tournament twice. Guess what? Damn near every team who's been D1 as long as us has been in the NCAA tournament twice. Like I said, you're not VCU, you're not UNC Wilmington, you're not Davidson, who was in the Elite Eight 15 years ago. Like, it is what it is. And look, Schwartz cares. So I understand people's frustration because of everything you said. The conference is not as good as it used to be, and everything you said is true. But, like, also, look, do you really want to start over again? Hell no.
Yeah, and two, ECU is funding basketball more than it ever has been. So, like, if there's ever going to be expectations for the program, there needs to be some now. And the other factor is, look, I just want to see ECU schedule better too. We got to stop with the non-D1 games, and we got to stop. You know, the non-conference strength of schedule. I have it here somewhere. I think 322nd out of 364 teams. Like, that's got to get better, and I'm fine with it for now. Like, this was the year to get some wins, get the program moving in the right direction. Now you have momentum. Next year we see ECU's going to North Carolina. I think that's a great thing. We've discussed that on the show, and I just want to see expectations start to rise for this program, and hopefully this is the start of that. I think Schwartz can win big here. I know he believes he can. We've got some resources now with NIL, Garrett Blackwater stepping up in a massive way. So we'll touch more on the portal additions here on the other side. But it's just an interesting decision because at the end of the day, I don't understand why it had to be done now with 2 years left on his contract. It's like if he does it again next year, I'm all for a multi-year extension. And it's now, it's like you do it now when midseason people were questioning whether he'd be back or not. And now you do it now. What if next season goes south with more resources going in? Then you may face a situation where people want to change, and then you're having to owe a whole another year of money from his contract. So at the same time, Gilbert could look like a genius from now. Maybe Mike Schwartz wins big next year chance, and he gets poached for a bigger job. Because let's be real, if he wins 20-plus games again next year, he could probably go to any job he wants to because nobody has won at ECU.
Yeah, I mean, just like we hear Cliff Godwin say every time, if whatever lineup he puts out there works, he looks like the genius, and if it doesn't work, he looks like the idiot. So,
right.
I mean, it's just one of those situations that if John Gilbert feels good about it, and probably the most important thing, if the donors want it, and they're putting up money, I think you just got to do it.
And the other thing too is it is just 1 year. If this was a 3 or 4 year extension, this was like the Mike Houston extension that ended up. Although I was in favor of it at the time because of where Mike Houston had the program going, that ended up backfiring. I think nobody really saw that coming to the 2-10, and then what happened after that. But like that is now costing ECU millions of dollars, and so like this will not really cost ECU millions if it doesn't go wrong. But at the same time, ECU is not really in a state where we can just throw away money here. So there's a fine line. Again, we'll get John Gilbert on the show at some point here in the near future. We'll ask him about it as well because I'm sure a lot more went into it. And I've requested the contract to see if there's any other stipulations in it, and we're still waiting on that to be finalized. So interesting, but I just thought it was worthy of discussion. All right, we'll get a break in on the other side. We'll talk about some of the transfer additions by Mike Schwartz, including a big one on Friday right after we got off the air. 6'11", 265, true paint presence coming to Greenville. We'll touch on that. And also, we got ECU baseball at Elon tonight. I guess we'll try and preview that. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
Hey, it's Jim Wells again with Wells Roofing and Gutters here in the beautiful community of Lindale, Bedford. At Wells Roofing and Gutters, we believe in quality first. And that's why we use Certainty shingles, which are manufactured in Oxford, North Carolina, a local company. In the event you ever do have a claim or a problem with your roof system, they're local and they come and take care of us in a timely manner. We could leave off some accessories and we could certainly save money, but we believe at Wells Roofing and Gutters in installing the correct way per manufacturer requirements, and we warranty your roof both in-house and also with our supplier, who is Certainteed. For a job Wells done, no shortcuts taken, and a good quality job on your home, give us a call today, 252-227-8403. We also offer financing, 12 months, no interest, no payments.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Everything you need to know in the world of ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday. We just had the discussion about Coach Schwartz's extension. We've talked ECU spring football as well. Let's talk about some of the additions in the transfer portal. The Pirates doing well in the portal. We've got Philip Pilkington producing, Chance Scott hanging out, intern Brandon also behind the glass on a Tuesday. And so right now, guys, East Carolina, we know the following players are returning. I don't have the roster up, so I'm going to try to do this. Jordan Riley, leading scorer from eligible players to return. Obviously, R.J. Felton, C.J. Walker gone. But Jordan Riley, big return. You know, defensive-oriented, slasher, dunker, athletic freak, specimen. J. Shane Woodard, 6'7", combo guard, can also play the wing. Travion LeBeau, the hustle, 6'3", undersized power forward, but brings a lot of things to the table. You also bring back Reed Kaysen, who's a 6'10" sophomore, Tybo Bailey, who played a little bit last year, backup guard, and LaDante Felton as a redshirt freshman. So that's 6 returners, 3 of which played a lot. You also have a signee, Dahi Quinn, 6'4" combo guard, 200 pounds physical guard, downhill guard. So he's out of Tabor Academy in the Northeast. That's 7 scholarship players. Corey Calker, junior college point guard, has committed. That's 8. He was a former Louisville commit, also had West Virginia on him, averaged around 13 a game, 4 assists at junior college this past year at Eastern Florida State. And then the true transfer portal players right now, 2 big guys. We knew about Eli Delore out of Providence, stretch 4, 6'10", 225. And then the big one, which came Friday afternoon as far as the announcement, Giovanni Imaguro out of George Mason, 6'11", 265. Now, if you look at his numbers last year, they don't jump off the page, but here's what I want to tell folks about. Because the year before when he was at Siena, his numbers were much better on the surface because he wasn't playing behind another really good big. So George Mason had 2 5s last year. The other guy, Jalen Haynes, he has since transferred to Cincinnati. He was their number 1 5. Imaguro backed him up. He played just 16 minutes a game, but he shot a program record 67% from the field, averaged 6.2 points and 4 rebounds per game. And then at Siena the year prior, 11.3 points, 6.3 rebounds per game. Those are the numbers I would expect him to put up at ECU or more along those because he's going to be ECU's starting 5. So I think this is a very good addition ECU has not had a physical presence in the paint chance in years. Like, I can't remember the last time we had a 6'11", 265-pounder. So regardless of the numbers he puts up, I think this is going to be much more in line with what Coach Schwartz wants from a physicality, defensive-oriented paint presence.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to Sierra Malanga or, CJ Walker, just, they really want fives, and now you finally get a real paint presence, and, you got your four to stretch it out a little bit and open the room up for pick and rolls, pick and pops, however you want to play it. So, I think it's probably one of the better starts Schwartz could have got off to. I mean, he's got a couple more pieces he's got to put together, but I like how it's going right now.
Philip, your thoughts on Giovanni? I assume I'm pronouncing this right. Imaguro, that's what I'm going to go with. But big paint presence.
He is. He's much taller than the guy that Scooter just texted us, said he wanted back in the Pirate program, Caleb LeCount. Scooter quit.
He's a full 1.5 feet taller than Caleb LeCount.
Scooter, no, he's not coming back. Look, this is one of the things that we were worried about, I think, getting. You're going to be able to get some athletes. There's athletes everywhere. There's only so many guys who are 6'11" who are actual post presence. Some guys are 6'11" and they're just tall. Doesn't mean they're good at basketball. This is a guy who's actually played, who's actually proven that he can play Division I college basketball at his size. So I think that's big. I think pretty much now you're a shooter away. I mean, you got your stretch four, got your big, got your downhill point guard. Now we just need some guy that can just light it up.
So there was a guy on campus this past weekend who can shoot the ball. His name is Tyler Murus, M-R-U-S. Maybe Tyler Russ. I don't know the pronunciation there. 6'7", 205. We're just getting a bunch of guys I can't pronounce. So That's always good. 6'7", 205. Now, he is being recruited by BYU along with some other West Coast schools. He is a Washington native, so we'll see what happens here. But he was on campus, saw him over the weekend. 38% three-point shooter. He's not the only guy they're going after that can shoot threes, but he would be, average 9.7 and 3.2 a game at Idaho last year. Large volume of shots. This would be a shooter to add to the mix. We'll see. But I think that's the biggest thing, Chance. You mentioned it. Philip mentioned it. Got to get a shooter because, the point guard, Calker, can shoot it. But, you need a spot-up shooter, I think, is what this roster needs now.
Yeah, I mean, you add somebody like that. You can, maybe put on your bench and come off with Riley or Woodard, however they want to put this lineup together. That's super. 9 points a game off the bench, and you shoot 38%. I don't think any team in the country turns that down.
Right. I think right now, and again, we'll see who commits. They've got a few other spots as well. They're after a guy named Isaiah Mbang out of William & Mary, combo guard, who was all CAA rookie last year. I think if you had to draw up a starting five today, it would be Corey Calker at the point, downhill point guard who can also shoot it. Jordan Riley potentially at 2. J. Shane Woodard in that guard spot as well as a 3. I think they're going to plan to start, if this goes according to plan, Eli Delore at the 4 and Imagura at the 5. That would be a massive lineup. And I think ECU has always been good offensive rebounding guys. If you throw that out there, 6'7" Woodard, we know Jordan Riley for a 6'4" guard can rebound with the best of them. 2 6'10", 6'11" guys. I think that would be the blueprint to be good defensively. Hopefully you get enough shooting. Like if you got to throw in a guy like this Idaho transfer, somebody else off the bench to add some length and shooting as well, that's obviously a key. But I think the plan is to be, once again, really good offensive rebounding team and take a step defensively. So that's how I see it from my point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the biggest thing the last 2 or 3 years we haven't had is just a guy that's going to come out there and just hit threes. I mean, we all love R.J. Felton, but that really wasn't his bread and butter, and he kind of just had to do it. He learned to do it, and I'm glad to see he's getting his shot. With Phoenix, he's getting a workout in.
Yeah, so Phoenix Suns. How about that?
That's good to see. And if he doesn't get the NBA or the G League, I know for sure he's playing overseas or he's getting a pro shot somewhere.
And they want Delore to be the stretch 4, kind of like Brandon Johnson. I think the jury's still out. I know in practice he has shot the ball well, and he shot it well in high school. He just hasn't done it at a high volume at Providence, so that will be, to me, that's the biggest question. Can he do that at ECU? I don't know, Philip. Maybe we see the rest of these few spots, how they play out, but that's how I kind of envision it on paper now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you'd love for to land some guy that you had no idea you were going to land, and then he goes there and takes somebody's spot. No offense to any of the guys out there, but look, I think that's how it kind of comes together. The good thing is I think with this roster is also going into this, you'd kind of know who the twos are. You'd know who your rotational pieces are, your 7, 8, 9 guys, as opposed to where I felt like last year there were just so many question marks. This looks like a more put-together roster, in my opinion. Now, obviously, you got to play together. You got to go out there. You got to produce on the court. But right now, this is already coming together, I think, a lot better than, April 29th last year. And not to be a jerk, but to everybody who I told you so, to not panic that we weren't getting guys because the big dogs are not eating yet. I told y'all we would be fine. And unless we showed up to mid-May with no transfer additions, it would be fine. The first domino fell, and look, now we got like 4 dudes. See, we're good. It's not even May yet.
And we'll remind folks as well, Jordan Riley committed to ECU on May 22nd last year, and C.J. Walker committed like a week before that. So you can still get good players into May. And I wouldn't rule out, if I'm ECU, let's say these 2 guys go your way and bang, and maybe Russ or somebody like him, I would hold that last spot just to see who falls through the cracks, because I feel like there's always a guy that's just a really good player who gets left behind. Because I still think I would like to have another proven shooter on top of these guys, but easier said than done, I guess. It's just you're kind of risking it if you're waiting for that spot to fall out, but that's what I would try to do.
I mean, is he really risking it considering that we've seen Riley and Walker both so late?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember hearing him say it a while back, and it stuck in my head. Just you want to find a guy that thinks he's going to Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech just don't want him. So,
right.
The worst you do is you got to fill in with a guy that's probably not as talented as you wanted, but
it's your last roster spot.
Some dudes might just be better than their film plays sometimes.
All right, guys, let's get a good basketball discussion. I'm proud of you, Chance. You made it through the hoops discussion. Let's take a break. We'll wrap with baseball. ECU baseball. We'll also maybe touch on some playoffs going on as well at the professional level. This is Hoist the Colors. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
If you are interested in living longer and living stronger, Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine is accepting new patients for a limited time. Finding a caring physician can be a challenge. Dr. Billy Smith is board certified in physical medicine and lifestyle medicine and has been practicing in the area for many years. Call for an appointment now to Eastern Physical and Lifestyle Medicine, 252-364-1108 in Greenville. That number again is 252-364-1108.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946. We're live with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Hoist the Johnny Roger!
Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
On a Tuesday, final segment here, Hoist the Colors. Been a fun show. We've had some heavy ECU discussion. Tomorrow, as a heads up, we're going to have Darren Vaught, ECU basketball play-by-play voice, join us to recap the offseason. Peyton Brady will also be in studio, Hoist the Colors intern. She'll be hanging out, so looking forward to tomorrow's show. We got Chance Scott hanging out here along with Philip Pilkington. We've got a comment, fellas. I honestly thought we'd get more comments today. We've had a lot of viewers. People are just, they're so locked in by our takes they can't even respond to them. But Johnny Robertson has a comment. He's got a comment on probably the last player I expected him to have a comment on, but no offense to Taylor Grubbs, ECU reliever. He said, did Taylor Grubbs find something on Friday after giving up a home run and hitting the next batter, he pitched a very impressive 3 innings. He had 2 strikeouts and only used 11 pitches to record the other 7 outs. So, I don't know. What was the score at that point?
I don't know.
17
probably,
to 0?
Probably when I checked out mentally and was watching sports on Stream East.
Yeah, look, the one thing I like about Taylor Grubbs is he's going to throw strikes. He's got experience, so I hope to see Taylor Grubbs throw tonight because I don't want to see ECU walk a single Elon batter.
Also, I want to be out of here before 10 so I can join you guys for the Nuggets game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I need to see more. I need to see more Johnny stats. Any Taylor Grubbs takes here?
I mean, we really haven't seen him.
Yeah, we haven't seen him
for a while until then. So I mean, I think once he got the rust off, he kind of just settled in, and in a game that's really not really competitive, you can just get up there and just throw strikes and not really have to worry about it.
And I'm to the point now where with ECU on the outside looking in for an at-large berth, Taylor Grubbs, Tyler Brashear, I know it didn't go well for him, but, give some of these guys some innings. ECU at Elon tonight, not a ton of RPI implications here. Bradley Zayak's getting the start, so I'm all for a bunch of guys throwing just to get experience at this point.
Is Irby still only at 1 appearance on the year?
He is. He's dealing with an injury, I've heard,
okay.
So that is why. So, I don't know. If they're on the active roster and they can throw, give them a shot tonight. Any thoughts on this game? ECU,
Parker
Elon?
pitched over the summer.
Parker Bird?
Braden Burr's time, baby. Let's go. Sub 1 ERA.
He did say he's been teasing AK about it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just been a frustrating year. I talked a lot about it, Bucks on the Pond last night, but Chance, let's get your take. Just, you've been covering the team. You've been to a lot of games this year. So what's it been like? You've obviously grown up watching this team, now covering them in a down year and kind of dealing with that. What's been your take on it?
Man, it's just been the consistency, I think, for me, and the fact they haven't had a moment. I guess the grand slam from Boucher at UNCW was a moment, but at home, I feel like they were missing the Bristol Carter hit to walk it off, the Jacob Starling cycle against NC State to get the crowd going. It feels like all year the crowd's just been purple gold, and then the Jungle guys giving them all they got. But, it hasn't been a lot of energy.
Saturday, and I wasn't there, but watching on TV, it felt like that was the first time that the team fed off the crowd. Did you kind of get that same vibe?
It was a weird feeling because it was like, where has this been for the last 40 games? So, and then I thought Sunday they'd come out and it would be, that was the changing moment. Sunday, I felt really good. I thought we were going to go in there and be dominant, and then we just won't. So, I mean, it's been the consistency all year. Pitching has been up and down. Hitting's been up and down. Fielding's been, terrible. So, it's just been a really bad year.
We got a couple of minutes left in the show. Tell folks about Pirate Pulse, what you're doing there, and we'll give that a plug to wrap things up.
Yeah, man. You told me when I first started to try to brand myself and use this internship for an opportunity. So you kind of just told me to get out there and do it, and I started it. It's been going well. I mean, it's been 4 or 5 months. Been running strong now with Magic Mile Media helping me out. So It's been great. I've been loving it. It's been a lot of work. I don't know how you do as much as you do because I ain't as busy as you are, but it's definitely been fun.
It's a grind. I enjoy your jungle. What do you do in the?
It's like a rapid reaction. It's something. It's something the work wanted me to start and do, and I didn't like it at first, but it's kind of been my way of getting all my mad emotions out after a loss. So I can just ride home in peace.
The toughest thing about media now is it's you got to do so much, from social media to talking like this to writing. It's a lot, but it's also fun. It's a labor of love, and you've got some big things on the way. And congrats, by the way, on graduating. So
yep.
Saturday will be your ceremony.
Saturday.
Next Saturday,
yep, May 9th.
So
Friday. One of those days. I don't know.
Okay, soon enough.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your hard work, man, and we'll get you back on the show.
Yeah, man. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll get you back on the show sometime because, you'll be around this summer sometime. So, good stuff. Philip, appreciate you, as always, as well. Did the Nuggets get done tonight?
Yeah. They got to bounce back.
Who's winning the Stanley Cup, Chance?
Not the Canes, so we'll see.
Not the Canes.
Did the Canes finish off Jersey tonight?
You would think so, but
I think it's a wrap tonight at home.
You would expect so, but I've also seen the Canes just choke away a series at home. So you don't want to go back to New Jersey at all. You don't want to see a Game 7. So
don't let Frank the Tank get back, man.
I can't stand that guy.
He is on the devil's stink, and you got to keep him that way. Don't let him get hot.
Hurricanes will roll tonight. Devils are done. As much as I hate to see it, because I love to see the Canes lose. Sorry, people. I just like to be a contrarian. All right, we got to get out of here. Tomorrow, Darren Vaughts, Peyton Brady. We'll talk ECU, Elon, recap that, and more. Hoist the Colors on a Wednesday. We'll see you at noon.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo. Tune in weekdays at noon for all things ECU sports. Get a recap of the show at 943thegame.com, on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere you get your podcasts. We're back tomorrow with more of Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.